Man, I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one, because I know I've got a fair amount of anime fans in my audience, and, well, frankly, I can't wait to get my take about this out there, because I haven't really looked too deep into it yet. I've heard some friends' takes in this situation, but I haven't done enough research to have my own just yet, so we're about to do said research. You see, according to, and I am sourcing Screen Rant for this article, according to Screen Rant, a proposed US law wants to ban lots of anime, but it has one big problem. And then there is a photo of John Naruto on the headline, like the banner for the article. Texas fans of anime and manga were thrown into an uproar earlier this month when news emerged that the state Senate had passed a bill that could potentially make it a felony to possess anime and manga that appear to depict minors in an obscene manner. Now, my background music is too loud. I guess that Stormwind bit just decides to peak all the audio for no reason. Anyway, so as you guys know, if you've watched me for a while now, I've gotten a fair amount of hate from the lolicon community. I've never really claimed that, like, lolicon should be banned in America. I don't think it even has been until laws like this, because I don't know if laws like that could ever be properly enforced without some really weird overreaches in legal application. It's pretty common. Like, you gotta trade some level of freedom for safety, and there's a certain line where it's like, I don't know if we should just go for that and make the state have that much power, right? And so, because I've criticized, and I've, once again, not even said they should go to prison for it, because I said lolicons are weird, and that lolicon shit is in fact pedophilic, those people went after me with a vengeance, dude. Like, a handful of these, like, pedo lolicon creators have gone after me fucking tooth and nail trying to take me down, bro. They're rabid. They congregate in groups because they know pedophiles are not very well liked, and so they know that the only way they can get by is if they group up together and act as a unit. Because if one or two guys are saying, you're so fucking weird, you're into children, what the fuck, but then 100 people come along and start roasting those two normal people and calling them weirdos for having a problem with it, they'll even call you, they'll even say that you're hurting real victims of child sexual assault because you're upset about not real kids being gooned over. They'll pull out all the stops to try and defend their, like, perversion. But regardless, just for saying that, I've been inundated with hate from the lolicon sphere. So, obviously, the essence or the spirit of a law that would ban lolicon stuff or even make possession of it a felony, I'm not even against that. It's more so, along with what a lot of other people seem to have, my concern for how this is going to be enforced. Keep in mind, this is the Texas Supreme Court we're talking about here. I assure you their motivations are not the protection of children. Never has been. Although the bill has not yet become law, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has expressed his support for it, indicating that its passage will be a priority for him. The bill, Senate Bill 20, or SB 20, also known as the Stopping Artificial Intelligence Generated Child Pornography Act, criminalizes the possession or promotion of images that appear to depict, quote-unquote, appear to depict? I guess that's fair, I guess. Children under the age of 18 and are deemed obscene. This applies regardless of whether the depiction is a cartoon, an animation, or an image created using AI or other computer software. The bill's rapid passage in the Senate, where it received unanimous support in just 2 weeks, is now under consideration by the House of Representatives. Given its momentum and backing by the Lieutenant Governor, it is unlikely that the House will delay its review for long. Here is why Texas anime fans should be worried about Bill SB 20. The law could have an unexpected effect on anime and manga. While SB20's stated purpose is to combat the increasing problem of AI-generated and computer-created child pornography, its language could encompass depictions of minors that do not traditionally meet the legal definition of CP. This ambiguity is a source of concern for anime and manga fans who fear the potential that they will be deemed criminals. The issue with the law is that it pertains to anime and manga in the way that it pertains to anime and manga is threefold. Firstly, the demographics of anime and manga characters skew young, with a significant number of protagonists being minors. Notable examples include One Piece's Monkey D. Luffy, My Hero Academia's Izuku Midoriya. I can't do that one, I'm sorry. Attack on Titan's Eren Yeager, literally the entire cast of Attack on Titan for the first, 3/4 of the show. All of whom are either minors or spent a substantial portion of their series as minors. It is also pretty common for characters to start at, Death Note, for instance, Light's in high school at the start, but then he's, well into his, adult manhood by the time the show ends. Well into his life by the time the show ends. Quite literally. Hint, hint. Anyway, second, from the perspective of cultural norms and regulations, Japan has a relatively less restrictive approach to the depiction of anime and manga characters in sexualized or sexually suggestive situations. In short, it is not uncommon to see anime and manga characters portrayed in such suggestive depictions. Third, a significant portion of the anime and manga content accessible in the United States is produced using computers or some form of computer software. So, at first I heard about that. Yeah, they're coming for Vosh, dude. When I first heard this, I was like, okay, but how bad is it, right? All the good popular anime tends to not be, anything that could be even interpreted as weird, right? But then I thought for a moment, and I realized, okay, but where would the line be drawn, right? Could Luffy's design theoretically be framed by a really touchy lawmaker or judge? Could Luffy's design be determined to be inappropriate? Could someone get a felony for buying and possessing the newest issue of One Piece? Could, Finn from Adventure Time kissing princesses be considered a sexual situation and thus be banned? It would not be insane for a state to ban a piece of media over kisses. That happened famously in Mississippi, I think it was, due to Star Trek. First interracial kiss on television. Mississippi just straight up banned it. Outfits, positions, actions, what they say counts. Yeah, oh man. Because, you think, oh, wait. There's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They are minors, I believe. Yeah, but that's another situation, right? I don't even know, dude. This is just the kind of thing where it's well, couldn't we just have a very strong social understanding that, lolicons are weirdos, and that if someone is into that shit, it's a red flag that they might be dangerous? Couldn't this be a more... we already have 911, and anything you do to harm or try and harm a child is already a felony. So why don't we just have a general, awareness campaign about this type of media and the people that consume it, and then from there allow people to use the already available avenues to get law enforcement involved if something is actually happening on a case-by-case basis? Because otherwise, how do you... I don't know. It just seems overreaching. I can see why people are upset. But then again, who knows? Maybe, astonishingly, this law will only be applied in cases where, creepos are just collecting immense amounts of lolicon or something, you know? Maybe in that case it'll be fine. Who knows? A straightforward application of SB20 to a Texas manga fan who downloaded a copy of My Hero Academia chapter 368, which was widely criticized for its sexualized depiction of the underage high school student Toru Hagakure, aka Invisible Girl, whose powers require her to be fully nude. A lot of popular anime has, the occasional weird thing like that. And that alone could get could get you fucked depending on how this law is applied, I guess. I've never seen this show, but I know it's really popular. Like, people watch the fuck out of My Hero Academia. I hear about it all the time. Whose powers require to be fully nude would likely result in a legal violation. Felony, dude. Damn. This offense carries a punishment of 180 days to 2 years in state jail, along with a fine of up to $10,000. Needless to say, this is an extremely harsh penalty for an otaku simply trying to find out who Class 1A's traitor is. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure if you're a My Hero Academia fan, it means something. What the United States Supreme Court has said about the law. Is this from Dragon Ball? Oh shit, Dragon Ball would apparently be on... That's a really popular one. You know, I think Pokemon too, right? I bet there's plenty of situations throughout Pokemon that they might straight up ban Pokemon, actually. Like, the more I think about it, like, yeah, no. Depending on how prudishly they apply this law, Pokemon could get yeeted, dude. Like, having... There is definitely that one banned Pokemon card. That would be a crime to have. And it probably should be, to be honest. Let's be real. That character is invisible, but her clothes aren't, so she often has to take off clothes to remain completely invisible. Yeah, but you could just not do that as the writer. You could have also just not done that. That was also an option, I'm just saying. Regardless, though. Fortunately for manga and anime fans in Texas, as well as distributors, their fears may be short-lived if the bill becomes law without changes. The issues addressed in SB 20 have already been considered by the Supreme Court of the United States. Based on the court's analysis, SB 20 is likely unconstitutional. Under the U.S. Constitution's Supremacy Clause, when a federal court rules on a matter involving the U.S. Constitution, its decision supersedes any state laws addressing the same issue. In the 2002 case, Ashcroft v. Free Speech Coalition, the law in question was the Child Pornography Prevention Act. This act, similar to SB 20, aimed to outlaw the possession of materials that appeared to depict minors engaged in obscene conduct, even if those depictions were virtual or computer simulated and did not involve actual minors. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that outlawing virtual images of minors that would not otherwise be considered obscene was unconstitutional. The court emphasized that while the law's objective of protecting children is valid, this validity diminishes when no real children are involved. Listen, I hear that excuse from a lot of lolicons, the no real children are involved thing, and it's like, yeah, but like, if you were jacking off to yaoi, I'd assume you want to fuck a dude. If you're jacking off to lolly, I'm gonna assume you want to rape a kid. That's how it goes. That's just how it is. It's just, that's my thought process. That's my logic. Take any issue with it that you will, but I will not budge. In essence, regardless of the emotional response an anime or manga character might evoke in a fan, these characters remain fictional, so the law is incapable of helping them. Well, it's more about, like, how normalization of certain things could potentially, like, empower certain bad actors to actually harm real children. I think that's what most people's concern is. A lot of these people, they want to use lolicon to normalize this kind of shit. That is a big part of their, like, cultural attempt to, like, wheedle their way into some form of, like, acceptance. It's really bizarre. Think people like Shadman and Nuxtaku and Rev Says Desu. People like that. There is, however, a catch in reaching its conclusion. The court had to consider not only the fact that virtual images do not involve real children, but also that the law prohibits images that are otherwise lawful, such as those that may be sexualized but not obscene, which are protected as free speech under the First Amendment. Sexualized but not obscene. What does that mean? That is a very weird wording. I don't even know what that means. Sexualized but not obscene? Does that mean, like, you're allowed to, like, make a cartoon about, like, two kids who have a crush on each other, and they, like, go on a date, and they just, like, hold hands and, like, peck each other on the cheek? It's all good because it's not obscene, but technically, I don't even know. Like, what does that mean? I have no clue. Someone's gonna have to tell me in the comments, I guess. The court determined that if an image, whether virtual or not, is deemed obscene, then the law may apply. However, this element does not apply to works that demonstrate literary or artistic value. That is a hard thing for a court to determine, I'd think, but, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Considering that anime and manga, both forms of artistic expression, are generally recognized as having some degree of artistic value, they would seem to be outside the scope of SB20 under Ashcroft. However, that does not mean an official wouldn't attempt to apply the law to a Texas anime or manga fan. To succeed, they would need to demonstrate that SB20 serves a compelling governmental interest, such as protecting children, is narrowly tailored to not to restrict otherwise lawful content, including anime and manga with artistic value, and that no alternative measures, such as content filters, could achieve the same objective. In other words, the law might apply in limited cases. For example, if the state can demonstrate that the anime or manga in question lacks artistic value, like, yeah, there is some slop, like, anime and manga that's just meant to be, like, fan service, like, creepiness, and I feel like that kind of stuff, if a court can parse that out, I would be genuinely impressed. However, in the vast majority of cases involving anime and manga, the law should fail. Hopefully, for most anime and manga fans in Texas, the issue will not even reach that point. I don't know, guys. A lot of people that I know that are into anime are scared about this because they see it as like a bit of a slippery slope to scarier, broader things, but I don't think there's really much to worry about personally. If you disagree, you can leave a comment in the chat or in the comments down below and leave your take, but for me, I think this thing's probably going to get shot down, and while I agree with the essence of the law, obviously, I'm an American, right? It's really hard for me to say that the First Amendment should lose power. You know, it's hard for me to get behind that, like, unironically, you know, I am an American after all. But with that said, if you guys enjoyed this segment, if you feel you learned anything, or you found it enjoyable or educational, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It helps immensely. The channel loves to get those likes and comments because it actually forces the algorithm to boost it in real time so that more people can discover my stuff and end up watching and subscribing. It actually really means a lot to me, so if you guys go out of your way to do that, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel. Of course, you can also leave a subscription and ring the bell icon as well if you want YouTube to actually tell you when I go live or upload new videos in the future. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, my social medias are linked down below in the description. Especially, you should consider joining my fan Discord. It is the main hub of my community and fan base, and I host all sorts of things like game events, call-in streams, and watch parties, movie nights, and stuff like that there, so make sure you're in there. You won't miss anything. And finally, if you are so kind and you want to help support the channel, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xanderhall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xanderhall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one.